everyone, I'm Colette and welcome to my channel Witch Ways, and today I want to talk to you about magic, witchcraft, spells, and divination that you can do for the fall months for the dark moon through the new moon first crescent. I hope you enjoy. And if you saw my summer moon magic, I talked about how the magical energy shifts over these 3 days of dark to new moon, and I'll recap that here with timestamps in case you've already seen it and want to skip it. So this is how I work with this phase, and not everyone does it this way. Dark moon, which is the final waning phase of the moon cycle, is for releasing, banishing, going inward, and doing divination. Lots of witches think that and work with it that way. After the new moon itself, the energy begins to turn, but the moon is still hidden. It's not visible in the sky. So I wait to do any serious calling in magic or starting new projects. And I do my calling in magic and beginning projects that I want to grow and wax and get bigger when I see the first visible sliver of the moon at sunset, usually about 24 hours after the actual time of the new moon. I want to talk about the general magic of autumn, since that's what's influencing our moon magic. Autumn is a bridge between the time of harvest abundance and moving into the dark of winter, with both equinox and Samhain showing up in these months. The dark moon energy becomes much stronger over this particular season, and you can work with that in your magic. Themes for fall moon magic include harvest, gratitude, dreams, divination, house spirits, and protection. Okay, everyone, let's start with September's dark moon. And the dark moon falls on the 20th and the day before. The new moon itself, with a partial eclipse, occurs on the 21st, and the first sliver appears on the 22nd, right on the fall equinox. I like to use this dark moon for clearing magic, especially for releasing any blocks we have to connecting with the earth itself. Both the energy of the earth's abundant, fertile harvest equinox energy and its deep underworld magical side. The goal is to deepen your witchcraft as we approach the dark half of the year and Samhain. And one way to do this is to build a two-part altar. For Earth's abundance side, fill it with harvest items, or you could just lay down a green or a gold cloth with a candle and a glass of water or wine. Light the candle and say something like, "I accept and appreciate expansion, growth, and what it brings," and let that energy settle into your body. And I think that we always think of good things we can easily accept, but we can't always. Sometimes we have blocks to that. So if you want, you can burn rosemary and blue vervain to release any blocks. For the underworld side, use a dark cloth, a candle, dark stones, or bones. Anoint the bones or rocks with oil and then anoint yourself. And picture the deep earth, roots, compost, mycelium, bones. Say something like, "I honor the powers of the underworld, the changes it brings, and how it supports life and depth." Let it settle in your body. If anything feels off, clear yourself in your space. Otherwise, just sit with it and integrate and journal if you want. On the night of the actual new moon, which is on the 21st, the moon is still hidden, so I like to do divination on what needs to shift for balance in my witchcraft in the fall. This might be more study, more practice, building community, or exploring something new like spirit work. Clear your space with rosemary or whatever you use to clear your space, and add a little mugwort if you want to boost your intuition. Then pull 3 cards, one for what you have enough of in your life, one for what you can share, and one for what you need. And then try to make a list for each card of what that card might be suggesting that you do. And then trust your intuition or use a pendulum to clarify what you need. Then on the first sliver appearance of the new moon, drink a tea of mint, fennel, and with a pinch of rosemary, and that sharpens both your mental clarity and your intuition. and write a list of practical steps to bring in what you need. Don't edit, just let ideas flow. Then cross off anything that doesn't fit and rewrite your final list. And on that piece of paper with that list, place 3 bay leaves, a sprinkle of cinnamon, and a pinch of cloves in the center. Fold it and whisper something like, success, success, success. What I need to do, please bring to me by the power of 3 times 3, as I will it, so mote it be. Place the herbs and that folded up piece of paper and put it in the charm bag with 3 knots and keep it where you'll see it when you do magic. If you choose, you can write the steps on a calendar to remind you to actually do them. That always helps me to put it on the calendar. All right, let's jump into October's moon. October's dark moon is the one that's closest to Samhain this year, with the dark moon on the 20th, the new moon on the 21st, and the first sliver moon appearing at sunset on the 22nd. These moons are really powerful, the veils are thin, and spirits are really close, and that might be awesome for you. It might help you really deepen into your intuitive powers, into your witchcraft, but it might be too much if you're very empathic or very sensitive or are new to witchcraft. Either way, I like to focus on psychic protection magic. To start this, you can burn rosemary through the house, brew a gallon of rosemary tea and pour it over yourself in the shower for protection and clearing, and then brew about a quart of blue vervain with a little garden sage. Anoint the parts of your body that feel open to psychic energy, and don't forget your hands or feet or any parts of your body that feel vulnerable. A lot of us sense energy with our hands or our feet, so don't forget about them. And then sprinkle the rest of that sage and blue vervain tea around your house, saying something like, sacred herbs, make my house a shield for that which is unwanted. Sacred herbs, shield the intuitive pathways in my body. And you can whisper or chant support and shield until it feels complete. For October's new moon, if you're more advanced and you already have protector spirits and feel comfortable inviting more in, you can see if there are new spirits who want to work with you. And on the new moon itself, burn mugwort before bed and place rosemary in each of the 4 corners of your bed. As you're working with those herbs, thank them and ask them to help protect you and call in what you need. Then light a small candle, gaze into the flame, and ask for a spirit with your best interests at heart to appear in your dreams, and focus very clearly on the type of spirit that you are comfortable working with. For example, usually ancestors, animal and plant spirits are pretty safe. Other ones might be more precarious, or you might need more skill to work with them. Try and match that with the level you are at in your witchcraft. And if they don't come in dreams, they may show up later. Do some divination to make sure they're right for you. Pull 3 cards to do this, or use whatever divination system you like. But if you're going to pull the cards, the first card is what that spirit brings to you. The second card is what they need from you. And the third card is an overview of if they are beneficial to you. Any card that seems ominous or indicates misfortune is a no. And I always just go with my gut on that. Sometimes cards that are traditionally seen as beneficial, there are sometimes I see them show up as a reading and I'm like, So pay attention to that gut reaction. If you get a yes, build the relationships with offerings and reciprocity. And then at the first sliver's appearance of the October new moon at sunset, do active daydreaming about the sound magic you want to do this year. Center yourself, burn a little mugwort, and let your mind wander. Notice what feels exciting or shiny. Ask simple yes/no questions or watch for images. It can look like anything from a ritual solo at home, which might feel like just a cozy, comfortable in your house image or feeling, Or it might look like going to a big event, and you might get images of crowds and music and excitement in your body and dancing wildly. So write down whatever comes, and maybe you'll even get some images about steps to take to create your own magical ritual for Samhain, and adjust it to fit your life and act on some part of it. Go through these images, try and interpret them, see if they make sense, and you don't have to literally do what those images tell you to do. They're more of a guide and a symbol for you to interpret and see what that means in your life. That follow through on taking actions and doing that work makes getting future guidance easier. Okay, everyone, and now we come to November's moon cycle. In November, we're really fully in the dark and the land rests deeply for magic. The dark moon itself is on the 18th. The new moon is on the 19th of November, and the first sliver appearance of the moon is visible on the 20th at sunset. And because the dark and new moons are in Scorpio, many witches call this lunar Samhain, and this is when they celebrate. I personally feel like this is a little late this year to celebrate Samhain, but you do what feels right for you. I began preparing for this intense cycle just after the full moon, which is post-Samhain this year, and each night briefly light a candle to let go of anything you don't want to carry into the dark with you. Old stories, things that didn't go as hoped, or whatever feels right. Things that didn't work out this year. And if nothing occurs to you on a particular night, skip it. On the dark moon on the 18th, you can take a salt bath or scrub in a shower, adding a pinch of powdered rosemary for clearing and protection. And as you step into the water, say something like, "What is past is gone, and what is ahead is unknown. I surrender to the dark's deepening and restoration." And that helps clear away all those things that you worked with from the full moon up until this time. Before sleep, imagine walking a soft, safe path into darkness. And this should be a really cozy, safe, velvety place for you where you can rest well. And that will help your body align a little bit more. I like to do this when I'm trying to do a seasonal shift or adjust to a new kind of magic. Just imagining a very safe place in the magic I'm walking towards in my life. So to do this, you can also tuck a lavender charm bag into your pillow for deep rest. Maybe taking a quick look outside just before bed to feel the quiet darkness can also be helpful. My first herbal teacher told me that often that is also helpful for fussy kids, is if you just take them out in the dark for a few minutes before bed. On the new moon on the 19th, you can do divination for the next 6 months. Light a candle, center yourself, and ask for the overall energy from November through April. Pull one card for each month, and you can pull helper cards for difficult months if needed. I like to use oracle cards for this, especially animal and plant cards, and then I try and embody that energy or visualize that energy near me to help me in that particular month. And then I think it's also helpful to record the cards with a key phrase for their meaning on your calendar. On the first sliver's appearance on the 20th, I focus on well-wishing. I take a cleared bowl, fill it with water, and visualize that water and that well connected to earth and sky. I clear the room and burn any incense I feel good about. Then I read the names of those I care about, and I ask the water to carry a well-wishing to them. And I'm very careful to not send intentions for specific things or actions, but just to send them a general well-wishing from the deep earth and the deep sky for them and their spirit guides to use in whatever way is right for them. Okay, everyone, let me know in the comments if you would like me to continue this series through the winter and any moon practices you would like to share. I'd appreciate you liking and subscribing if you enjoyed this, and also be sure to sign up for my monthly newsletter and check out my Patreon. It's a great time of year to do it. So until next time, stay safe and be well.